All right, guys. So I want to react to this today. It's actually Pat McAfee show talking about Jake Browning's performance last night, and I can't say this enough how truly amazing his performance was. It was magical to say the least. Now, I want to go ahead and pull this up real fast, but you see right here, per ESPN stats and info, Bengals quarterback Jake Browning is the first undrafted quarterback since 1967, common draft era, to throw for 350 passing yards and 85% completion in a game. So, yeah, he did some magical things. But here's what Pat McAfee has to say about the whole thing, and now he's officially on ESPN, which is so freaking weird, but, I mean, shout out to him for that.
You had the Jags minus 10 last night at home against the Bengals. I think a lot of people did. I seemingly only took the Bengals plus 10 because I had to, because the standings. And AJ, Cincinnati Bengal legend, he even went with the Jags. Nobody expected old Browning to do what he did last night. What did you see?
I will say overall wise, I'm not upset with people who took the Jags over us in that game. Maybe test plus 10 I think was a little ridiculous. But even if you look back at my predictions before that game, before the Jags game yesterday, I said I thought we would win, but it was going to be a very tough game. And I thought it was going to be a very close game. And it was very possible that it could go the opposite way if something did go wrong. Obviously, everything went wrong possible in the end, and we still won the game. But I am not against people or upset with people who took it against us, because I understand. At the end of the day, when you look at that team, it's an 8-3 Jaguars team that just beat the Houston Texans in a very close game at the end. The Texans beat us, obviously, and now they're going against the Bengals, who are 5-6 and have a backup quarterback at the quarterback position.
From him.
I mean, he played a hell of a game. 90%, 350 in the air. That's something we haven't seen from somebody non-drafted, but he was a dog, from beginning to end. Well-played game. Obviously, needed him from wire to wire to get it down to OT. Jamar Chase had a huge game. He was targeting him early, wasn't going down the field much early, but then got more comfortable as the game went on. So hats off to Zach Taylor, getting him ready for his second start now and take his team all the way to the right. Look at this Chase play was incredible, but it was.
I like him dancing going in the end zone and then obviously bust out the gritty. And Chase, we know he's the number one. But you lose your quarterback, all of a sudden you're staring down a much different season.
T. Higgins got back out there too. He made some plays.
And he was awesome. He said that he knew that Jake was going to be a guy going into the week. I think he reiterated that in an interview afterwards. He's like, the moxie, the confidence that he showed was something that we were all incredibly impressed by. Are the Bengals back?
I mean, the AFC, we saw the war of attrition with those quarterbacks over there, so they definitely got a shot, and you got to expect that Lou, that defense definitely got to pick it up and make some plays. You would think that would be the strength of this team right now, especially with a backup quarterback. They definitely have to get in there and make some plays, be better. But they got a shot. AFC still wide open.
I'll say it like this, because going back in the moment, watching a game like that, especially how crazy it was back and forth, it's easy to really say, oh, this is going this way, this is going this way. Our defense sucks, our defense was awful. And going back and watching the game back, I gotta say, I kind of got a better perspective on things. And it's always good to watch. That's why I always do my game series, where we go back and we watch the tape. Because I think at the end of the day, what we gotta realize is sometimes in the moment we might be upset or ticked off and say some things or think that our defense isn't crushing it. But in reality, they are. And throughout the game, yes, it was definitely a struggle in certain plays. And, critical moments like the first drive, the last drive of the game, overtime, our defense definitely struggled. But throughout that game, there's a lot of times our defense held them 3 and out. There's a lot of times our defense stopped them from scoring touchdowns. And it's things that really doesn't get talked about at the end of the day because we won the game, but it's very, very important things that, I think our defense overall-wise, they didn't play the most perfect game possible, which you're not going to against an 8-3 team. I'm sorry, you're not going to no matter what defense you are. But I think they played good enough to not be warranted as, oh, they had a bad game or they're trash. I think they played a game where I think that, they can learn from a lot of things. But without Cam Taylor-Britt out there, that definitely hurt them. But overall-wise, yeah, there was a couple mistakes. But for the most part, they played a pretty clean game, too. So, I think overall-wise, I said our defense got a B yesterday. I know even if we would have lost, I still would have said a B. Because looking back, in the moment, I might have been ticked off. But after looking back, it's very clear that the defense, well, yes, wasn't perfect, was not the biggest problem at all.
We out on Jacksonville tone or what?
I mean, we got to figure out what Trevor's injury. I mean, CJ
look bad.
Obviously a Hawkeye.
You got a guy.
You got a guy. I mean, listen, I hope Trevor's not out for an extended period of time.
That looked bad.
And it looked very bad. He slams his helmet.
That game last night, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, CJ did everything he could, you know. Yeah. He
Fumbled.
fumbled the first
I'm just saying the Jags, you're at home.
little jitters. What did he do right after that, though? Boom. Marched him right down the field. Kick a
which sucks so bad, too, because that first play for CJ Beathard fumbles the football, ball squirts out. DJ Turner looked like he was about to recover and win the game, and the ball just squirts out of his hands, and then they get it back, go right down the field, and kick a field goal. It's just, oh, man. And that last drive, listen, I love Lou more than anything, but the prevent defense really killed us that last drive. And there's no sugarcoating that at all. Prevent defense prevents yourself from winning. That's the best way you can put it. That's the best way you can say it. And it hurt us so bad that last drive. It's not even a joke at this point. But it is what it is, you know. We won it in the end, so it doesn't matter.
Field goal, let's get into overtime. And then, yeah, they couldn't get it done, but he's a player. I mean, he's a game manager. He's not going to go out there and poop the bed like some of these guys might do. Now, would you rather have Trevor Lawrence going into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how we're going to have to just view the AFC, I think. Who has their starters?
Seriously, exactly.
That's
And they lost Christian Kirk last night.
First play. What was that? Did they describe what that was?
Groin.
Yeah.
And he's out for the season, by the way, Christian Kirk. So that's a huge loss for them. They have no Christian Kirk for the season. And just to kind of wrap up everything, listen. Are we going to be a playoff team? I still think so. I've said since day one of this year, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year. Even when Joe Burrow went down, I still said we could still be a Super Bowl team. I think we will be a playoff team no matter what. I have iterated this point. I have never gone against that point. I still think we'll be a playoff team, if not a Super Bowl team. This is what Nick Foles did in 2019 with the Philadelphia Eagles. And I'm not saying that Jake Browning and Nick Foles are the same quarterback, okay? I'm not saying that. I think Jake Browning can be better. I'm just saying, I think Jake Browning can be better. But my point is, he comes in to a team that really has a team that can go win a Super Bowl, right? Everyone rallies behind him. That's exactly what we saw last night against the Jags. Everyone rallied behind Jake Browning. They rallied behind the guy. They have faith in the guy. And they want to go out there and play their toughest for the guy. And that's exactly what happened. And we won that game. Was it beautiful? No. And if you look at that game, you know, if Tyler Boyd doesn't throw a pick six pretty much to Josh Allen on a creative play, then that's a touchdown taken off the board for them. If on 2nd and 10, we don't run a trick play where Jamar Chase is throwing the ball back to Jake Browning and then screen pass on 3rd and 13, we get a field goal there. That's 10 points right there. That's a 10-point slide. So a lot of that game last night, it did come down to us messing up and us, you know, not playing smart. And it's definitely one of those situations where it's like, it is what it is at the end of the day, but there's things we can learn from that, right? And I think that's the most important thing here. So I do think we'll be a playoff team. And you know what? I'm still going to say Super Bowl. I still think this team can win a Super Bowl. If we get it together down the stretch, we're going to have to play 4 games. Wild card, divisional, championship, and Super Bowl. Okay? It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but we know how to win. And at the end of the day, that's what we're going to have to do, and that's what we're going to do. So, Who Dey Nation, who they think going to beat them Bengals? Well, clearly not the damn Jacksonville Jaguars. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys in the next one. Peace.